after this show. And Daytona, man, the Speedway, always an exciting race, always interesting. I haven't liked the new Daytona for a number of reasons over the years as far as the track design and the track layout, but it still provides some interesting viewing and some interesting thoughts for sure. Thank you to the folks at Fly Racing for doing this Moto 60 show. Really appreciate that. Go to flyracing.com and buy whatever, helmet, gloves, goggles, whatever. And then use code PulpMX when you're checking out at flyracing.com. And you can say, that's right, direct with flyracing.com. The code PulpMX does help. Thank you to the folks at Fly Racing for coming on board this show. Appreciate it. Get Maxxis, Decal Works, O'Neill Team Home Lending, 100%, and Seat Concepts all on board as well. And 702-586-7857. Let's give us a call, and we can talk some Daytona. This thing, I don't know, like, obviously the I Don't Know Man with Chase Sexton was quite a hit the other day on the show. But, I mean, RV said it. Phil said it. I can ask Osborne maybe to recap it. But, yeah. I don't know, man. 702-586-7857. And 250 East also picks up this weekend, of course. Picks back up this weekend. So lots to get into. We're giving away a pair of 100% goggles as well. Pulp 30 is the code to save with 100%. Jet Lawrence, Cooper Webb, many others using 100% goggles out there. And the code Pulp 30 saves you on those goggles from 100%.com, as well as the casual wear, the mountain bike gear, the sport glasses, these casual sunglasses, whatever it is. Pulp 30 saves you 100%, and San Diego-based company. They've been in the industry for a long, long time, supporting Core Moto. Taking your calls over there, holding things down, always surprising when he shows up. The Tits Ledger. Tits, what's up?
I thought you were going to introduce Travis when you said always surprising when he shows up, because I am the rock in this relationship here.
Okay, all right. Always surprising when he shows up, working the camera.
Yes, thank you.
Travis Marks.
Steve, it's nice to see you come around.
What do you mean?
The street art outside looks amazing.
Oh,
just FYI.
Listen.
Looks nice.
Listen.
Did you do it, or was that someone else?
This is the world we live in these days. Selective hearing. You people only hear what you want to hear. I got no problem with chalk on the street.
Oh, good. That's good to hear.
Just clean it up.
I'm not, so.
Clean it up.
Nope.
That's it.
I'm out. Looks good, though.
Maxxis.com, Maxxis Tires. Thank you to the guys at Maxxis for coming on board this show as well. McGrath's developed a new line of motocross tires, and they do really, really well. You look at the guys like Hunter Yoder, Base Flug, Cade Clayson, Freddie Noren. They're putting Maxxis tires into main events and into top 20s and top 10s and 250 class. Maxxis.com, soft intermediate to hard terrain tires available now from the folks at Maxxis, and fantastic mountain bike tires. Of course, the Maxxis guys really lead the way in their mountain bike tires. They do a good job with that. So, Fly Racing Moto 60 show. We're going to get Zach Osborne on here right away to talk Daytona and more. Lots to get into, though, for sure. 250 East is interesting. Max Anstey just absolutely got robbed of that win before, but he's been the best guy through 2 rounds. And I know Levi Kitchen will have something to say about this, and I think RJ Hampshire could win a race. Thrasher's banged up. Hymas came in underprepared. So I really think that this thing's going to come down to Kitchen and Anstey, and Vial will be lurking back there. But I'm interested to talk to Paul Perebijnos later today and Zach Osborne about RJ's chances in this thing. We're 2 rounds down. He's 23 back. He made more mistakes in Detroit, which is par for the course for RJ. Although he's got that title, he does make mistakes. He's got the raw speed. But is he out of this thing? 23 points down. Fly Racing Moto 60 show. Cooper Webb with the red plate, by the way, and he wears Fly Racing gear. So, all right, we got Justin on one. He wants to talk about I Don't Know, man. What's up, Justin?
How's it going, Steve? How you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for calling.
So, touching on the Chase subject, man, I actually have a little bit different, view on the I Don't Know, man. I want to have more like a race take roundabout. Big Lou, man. I'm a big fan of like the LVK show. I like Lewis Phillips.
Yeah.
I don't care that he's from Europe. He's living the American dream, talking about Moto.
Yeah. Good guy. Yeah.
But, dude, I have to give like him gripe in regards to, I know he's like huge Chase fan. He's on the Chase Sexton ship, but he like, I don't know how to explain, just, kind of meat rides him a little bit too much. He doesn't, kind of feel like he's close enough to him where he can really get us those hard-hitting questions. He has that comfortability with it and be like, dude, what's going on? Talk to us. he could be the good journalism, and he doesn't. He's just like defends them, and it's not a big deal. He'll be fine. He has the speed. What do you think? Like, do you think he should hit a little harder? And he has that comfortability to be like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, look, Big Lou's going to be Big Lou. He's going to do his thing, and he's certainly got a lot of positive aspects to the sport in his coverage. But I kind of agree. You can't look at what Chase has been doing with any sort of logic and think that it's not, big mistakes and mistakes that Chase is throwing away, 10 to 15 points the last 3 weeks. But, I mean, you do want to protect that relationship, but I don't know. I'm more with you, Justin. Like, I know when he hit the gate, Chase, apparently Big Lou was like saying, oh, yeah, I hit the gate. Like, lots of people hit the gate. But, no, man, they don't just dump their clutch at 6 and hope the gate drops, like Chase did. So, I don't know. Yeah, he probably needs to ask some harder questions. I know, Adam Cianciarillo, the man on line 6 right now, Zach Osborne. I'm good friends with these guys when they were racing, and they used to, not all the time, but once in a while, one of them would text me and be like, dude, are you an idiot? Why'd you say that? And I would just tell him what I thought, And I think Sexton would totally understand Big Lou saying those things and would still, give him access, and because Chase is a great interview and Chase is very honest. So,
yeah, definitely.
But I mean, yeah, Justin, you just got to kind of know, like, hey, maybe Lewis is not going to go all in on some of these mistakes that we see, from Chase. So.
No, totally understand. Hey, if I could bother you one more quick question.
Yeah.
Hey, I was just listening to the Pope MX show. Cody Shock, really good interview, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a good guy. I've loved him since he was on Lindsay's team on FXR Honda.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, he's podium guy now. He's getting up there with heat wins. What do you think? You think he's the next guy on Bobby Reagan's map for a star?
I don't know. It's a good question. Bobby seems pretty full, and he's got 3 amateurs coming up through the ranks, right? That are next, quote unquote.
He's the type of guy to throw the money around, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't see it, but I also wouldn't put it past him.
Right.
So yeah,
I feel like he could take that next, jump like a Max Ansty on a really, really good bike. Not that Club MX isn't, but
no, yeah, but I mean, the Club MX guys will fight you on that, which I don't agree with them, by the way. But they'll fight you that they're not, on the Star Racing team level, but I don't believe they are. But all right, cool, Justin. Thanks for the calls, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries. Have a good one.
All right, thanks. Really starting off with a Big Lou question right up the bat. Moto 60 show. I didn't have that on my bingo card. Wish we didn't, to be honest. But anyways, all right, 702-586-7857. We got some lines open. Let's bring in our resident expert to talk Daytona and all things Supercross. Supercross champion, Motocross champion, GP winner, Zach Osborne. What's up, Zacho?
Not much, Steven. Just got back home from the track.
Like I said, when you were in your prime, you would text me or I would talk to you at a race, and you'd be like, dude, why'd you say that? Or why'd you write that? Which I had no problem with, but, you would keep me accountable for dumb things I wrote or said, in your eyes.
Yeah, I can remember a couple of times. I think what I appreciated about you, though, was, like, it was always relatively level. It was just something that you didn't want called out,
Yeah.
It wasn't like some hyper conspiracy thing or something stupid.
No.
You suck or, whatever.
Yeah.
So I always kind of respected that, but also, like, as a rider, as a human, no one wants to have their, discrepancies or transgressions called out. So I think there's just that level of respect with you and some other guys.
So should Big Lou be a little harder on Chase Sexton?
You got to ask the tough questions, but if you're a fan as well, that makes it a little hard on you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I say yes. I think he should, and I think that Chase, I definitely saw a different side of Chase in the press conference, just giving it a no and that kind of stuff. But I think with Lewis, he's pretty open, and he would probably answer whatever Lewis asked him.
I don't want to dwell too much last weekend. This show is about looking ahead to Daytona, but I would like to get your thoughts, though, Zacho. It's pretty amazing that, A, he knew he had the overall, B, it was the last lap, and he still wanted to pass Coop and charge that hard and threw it away. I still can't believe it. Like, I get it. I get the machismo of passing your main rival. I understand the mental edge that you would want, but you've got the win. It's the last lap. You caught him already.
Yeah, in my opinion, the only way that Chase could have framed that is, yeah, I know my speed's going to get me through. I know I'm faster than him, so, I've made some mistakes the last couple of weeks, and I wanted to just take that second place. It would have been nice to win the main event, but I'd already tracked him down, so kind of won the battle there, and I took a second place, and I'm trying to work on my weakness, which has been throwing races away for 4 or 5 years now. So, on paper it's a second, but I did, I made a smart move or whatever, and it's just like those 8 points are so valuable, dude. When it's just realistically, it's just him, Kenny, and Coop at the front now. So even 5-point swings are hard. So it's a disaster, actually, in my opinion.
Yeah, 8-point swing because he was going to leave 3 up and he's down 5. It's for people who are wondering. Yeah, exactly. And like, dude, if you cross the finish right behind the dude and you have the overall win and you tracked him down, but you just didn't make a pass on the last lap, that's still something. That's like, hey man, I'm right here. Like
right. And you frame it up like the maturity thing, like, hey, I'm trying to work on my mistakes. I don't want to throw away races. Sure, I got to the back of him, could have possibly made a pass. And I understand his point, he wants to win races, but at this point, like I saw Ricky had said on their show, like, you'll take 2 wins and a championship over 5 wins and not a championship every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Zach Osborne here on the Fly Racing Moto 60 show. Give him a call, 702-586-7857. Zacho, you've raced Daytona more than a few times. What's the secret to going fast there? What is the key there? Because guys who are good at Daytona are good at Daytona. Marvin and Eli and, all these, Coop's been good. And then guys who can't quite figure it out, this is more in 250s, can't figure it out. What are they doing wrong? What are the guys that ride Daytona? Because it's its own animal. What do you got to do to be good at it?
I think you have to be extremely good at being uncomfortable. Like, nobody goes there with, I won't say nobody, but most guys don't go there with a full Daytona setting. It's something similar to what they've been riding, maybe softened up a little bit, maybe a little bit more fork compliance just for hand feel and not feeling like super rigid. But I mean, that's my thing is, like, you got to be uncomfortable. You got to be willing to hang it out. There's those walls. There's just always some weird stuff that you've got to just kind of hit fast with Supercross suspension. You've got sort of 3 days, 2 days, 3 days to get back to some outdoor speed. So it's a mix of all of that, and I think that's what makes success. I never had any success at Daytona myself. Somebody was like, how many times did you win Daytona? And I was like, 0. I actually never even got a trophy from Daytona. So
you never got on the box there? Really?
Never, dude. No.
Oh, wow.
17, I chose against the scoop tire on the line, which I never, ever did in my career other than that one time. Got a crappy start, fell in the sand, and got 5th. And then in 18, I think I was down in the first turn or something and got 5th again. And then I got 5th on the 450 in 19. And that's the only 3 times I raced it other than in 06 and 07.
Oh, wow. Okay. I would have. I didn't even look at your results, but I would have. I don't remember you winning, but I would have bet you got on the box at some point. Yeah.
Nope, no trophy. That's one of the ones I missed from my case.
Listen, I was at KTM. I was at Yamaha as a mechanic, and I must have spent 50 hours of my life testing for Daytona and testing a Daytona setup, and then the riders having the track builders build them walls and sand sections that run off of their Supercross tracks, etc. And then by the end, we'd end up going right back to the suspension that we knew, just softened up. And I think nowadays that is the key. Most guys just do the suspension softened up. Their regular Supercross stuff, the Daytona settings aren't really there. But like you said, being uncomfortable, right? That's what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, as a rider, I always loved Daytona week because it's kind of like a little bit of a break from the normal day-to-day doing laps on the same old Supercross track. You get like a little bit of freedom to ride, do what you want, kind of figure your bike out. It was just kind of like a decompression week in terms of like the whole year. So I always loved Daytona week. I think Daytona is such a sick race. I know that it's a pain in the ass as a fan, but from a rider's perspective, it was one of my favorites. I love the place. I think the vibe's electric always. Like, it's a cool race.
I always, for the most part, I enjoyed the weather because we were kind of like, it was cold in California in January, and then you went to some, East Coast domes that are cold, and then you hit Daytona and the weather in March in Florida. Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
So
Flip-flops and board shorts and
yeah,
on your bike.
Yeah, I always enjoyed the weather in Florida. 702-586-7857. We got Gage on 3. Gage, welcome to the Fly Racing Moto 60 show. What's your question, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I happened to see a little bit of satire, I think, this morning. Looks like JB was potentially going to fill in.
No, stop it. That was just a fun
Yeah,
video.
I know. But
okay.
hey, is there any speculation that they could bring him back if the Wilson thing falls through?
No. JB's 39 years old, dude. It's over. It's over.
Daytona winner, bro.
I know. I'm aware of that, but it's look. I mean, when JB hung it up, he was 7th, 8th place guy, and I told him, I'm like, why don't you keep going another year? Because he could have kept going, and he told me, he's like, man, it just gets worse from here, and I'm like, you're right. You're absolutely right. Like he's not a top 5 guy anymore. Now he's just a top 10 guy, and dude, that was 2 years ago. So
Yeah, I know. Hey, I got one for Zacho.
yeah.
Yo.
Hey, Zacho, you aren't by chance racing the Rouge Roubaix this weekend, are you?
I'm not. I was going to, but I've had like a 3-week sickness going on, and I'm finally just getting out of the woods. One of my friends, Morgan Moss, maybe you know him if you know about Rouge Roubaix.
Yeah. I read it last year. It's gnarly, man.
Yeah, but one of my buddies, Morgan Moss, he invited me down because his pizza shop, Big River, is one of the sponsors. So he was trying to get me to come, but maybe next year. I signed up for Rule of 3 in Arkansas for May, so that's kind of my big goal at the moment.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call.
Well, y'all have a good one, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Get and Athena, either 2-stroke CDI, 4-stroke ECUs. The Honda HRC guys are using Get. There's data loggers. There's the start lights. There's ECUs and CDIs. The 2-stroke EFI 2-stroke bikes are really, really advantageous to use to bolt on a Get CDI. So email us using the contact form on pulpmx.com. We'll pass on to the guys at Get and Athena. They'll give you a deal. And also Athena, they got big bores. So if you're in the market for like a big bore 250 2-stroke or 250F 4-stroke, Athena can help you out with that too. So check out the folks at Get and Athena and email us looking for a discount code. So Seth's on 2. Seth wants to talk 450s. What's up, Seth?
Good afternoon, fellas. Hope you guys are well. Thank you for taking the call.
Yes, sir.
I called a few weeks ago here, and I'm going to take a quick victory lap, but then I want your, your updated feeling on what I said before.
Okay.
It was after Jet and Tomac went out, I said that Coop's got to be the favorite now because Chase has essentially never won a championship straight up. Say what you want about it, but it always takes an injury. Now that we are a couple of rounds in, back-to-back wins, couple of meltdowns, what's the 450 title chase looking like? And should I pat myself on the back now, or should I wait a couple more weeks?
Well,
I think I said the same. I'm pretty sure I was on the web wagon the moment after Tampa even, because I said the biggest winner last night, you don't know it, but it was Cooper Webb. It was kind of hidden in the Mookie fever because, it was his first win and everything. But Coop came from like 7th or 8th, passed everyone that he needed to pass. Eli was out. Chase threw away a win. So it's like that's where the momentum started, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would think Webb's the favorite right now. He's 5 up, and we saw Chase just make a bunch of mistakes. But I think as long as Chase is the fastest guy in the class, and he is, raw speed, I don't know how we can absolutely say that this thing's Coop's to lose. It's only 5 points. I'm not stoked with what Chase has been doing, but I picked him to win this weekend, so there is that. But, yeah, I mean, look, Coop's done it before, right? But I don't know. I know what you're saying, Seth, about not straight up, but, like, when Sexton won the 450 Supercross title, he was the fastest guy. He just made some mistakes. So
100%, yep.
It's not like, for example, we just did a re-raceables on an 05 season outdoors, and love Ivan Tedesco, he won 2 races, and he won the championship, and that's cool. That check cashed. But Langston won 4, and somebody else won 4 races, maybe Alessi, and, they made mistakes. And so, I don't know. I get what you're saying. The championship is it, but I don't know. I
The
don't.
thing
know
about
if
Chase, like, he's not backing into them in third to seventh.
No.
Like, it's not
No.
like that. He's winning races, as many races as the other guy. I don't know what the stats were on the one where Eli tore his Achilles, but like they were close on wins, right? It was like
yeah.
6-5 or something like that. So it's that's like a null and void point. Like, part of winning this title, like I said a few weeks ago, is being at every race, and it's just part of it. Like, it's a huge part of it. So yeah, for me, there's no asterisk on anything or backed into anything. Like, he's a legit guy. He's been second in almost all the series. He hasn't won. Like, he's legit. It's not like he's getting just podiuming his way to championship.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Thanks for the call, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Speaking of Daytona this weekend, Zacho, like I said, I picked Chase to win, but like whatever, flip a coin. I'm super stoked for this thing because, like, nobody's won it. They all want to badly win Daytona, just like you said as a racer, and it's a huge regret for you. These three guys want to do it. Coop's been on a podium almost every week, almost every year here. Kenny's incredible. Chase is Chase. Dude, I'm excited, really. Like, who's got this thing?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really good. I saw Kenny yesterday at Sandbox, and, man, like, normally, I see him ride once a week or once every other week, whatever. And normally at practice, it's like, okay, whatever. But yesterday, he was like, damn, this dude is so freaking good. It's unreal.
Yeah. And, like, you can make cases for each guy winning Daytona. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think, I mean, later in the show, my pick's going to be Kenny, but I think he's probably the favorite of the three, in my opinion.
Oh, okay. I'll go with Chase, but I mean, but then Coop's got the most podiums there, so like, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, there's just really interesting stats for everybody. And again, they want to win this race so badly. Never mind the championship. Obviously, the championship is what matters. But this particular race, without Eli and without Jet there, this could be their last chance.
I agree.
Yeah. Zach Osborne here on the Fly Racing Moto 60 show. Use the code PulpMX when you're checking out at Fly Racing. Let's go to Trevor on one. What's up, Trevor?
Hey, boys. How you doing today?
Good.
Hey, Steve, you're a CTI knee brace guy, right? I've seen those crazy Phil Nicoletti-faced ones you have.
I am. Yeah, I like CTIs, yeah.
So I tore my knee up back in the day, kind of getting back into riding, and the knee braces I have are just haggard. I've heard that CTI will take the braces back and like refurbish them and send them back out.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like a contact for anybody over there, or should I just go to like Oser's website and just email them through that way?
Yeah. Did you send me an email?
So I'm just a fucking construction guy, so I'm not good with computers. I kept getting like a thing saying I'm using a proxy, so the contact form won't work.
That's Mark's.
My brother emailed you.
Okay.
Just trying to help me out.
Yeah, I forwarded to my buddy at CTI to try to get back to you, to get you just on the right page as far as that. They will refurb them and build them up again, and it's obviously cheaper and easier than getting new ones. For sure. They will. So actually, I just sent a text, and he said he emailed my guy at CTI emailed back this morning.
All right.
So,
sweet. Yeah, I'll give my brother a call. Appreciate it, buddy.
Sounds good, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
They'll only refurb them to a point, though.
Oh, they will?
He said they're extremely haggard. So.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, good to know. Justin's on 4. First time going to Daytona. What's up, Justin?
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for taking my call. Yeah, I'm actually catching a flight here in a couple hours. My first question is, can I go to Media Day tomorrow? And my second question is, I didn't get tickets yet because something fell through. So I know it's general admission. Anywhere particular you recommend sitting?
I don't think you can go to Media Day. I think it's only for
higher is better.
The press. Yeah, higher is better up there. So, I don't. I mean, it's grandstands, right? And then I don't think like standing on the tarmac is the way to go.
No, absolutely not.
Your legs would kill you. Your Achilles and stuff would kill you, I've heard, after a while. And then you can't see much. So, yeah, just sit up and – dude, you'll see when you get there. The grandstands are enormous. You could sit anywhere.
All right, I got one more thing for Zach.
Yep.
Zach, I heard you're doing the rule of 3. I lived in Bentonville for 2 years. Go what kind of bike are you using?
So I'm either going to go drop bar XC bike or just full gravel cross bike.
Yeah, I would go XC. Seeing the event for 2 years. Yeah, that's, or if you get a gravel bike that you can get a little bit of front shock. That's like the ticket.
Okay, I have a Crux right now, but I'm getting the Fox gravel fork for it.
Yeah, that'll be.
So I can run like a 2.0 rear and a 2.1 or 2.2 front if I need it.
Yep.
Sweet.
You'll have fun.
Thanks, dude. Is it a good event?
It's good. Usually Lance Armstrong's there. His team does pretty well, but the locals seem to still win it. Or Payson, he's with Red Bull. He does pretty well too.
Okay, all right. Moving on. Daytona here. Daytona talk. Thanks, guys. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks, man. Appreciate the call. Listen, Zacho, I don't know what we got one guy calling in about some race I've never heard of. Now this guy's calling in about another race you're doing. Listen.
It's bicycles.
Okay. We got a question from Austin here on YouTube. He said he knows that Deegs rode really well, but he can't seem to start well right now. Question for you, Zacho. Have you ever gone through a bad start slump like Deegs is in, and how do you improve it? And also, this is my own question. Of course, we got a Deegs question, even though the race is he's not racing this weekend, all that. But anyways.
I just want to hear the motocross stuff.
Thank you. Okay. Zago?
Bad
start
so
slump. Yeah.
For me, I was a really good starter in the amateur days, but my starts as a pro were just not as good, especially like my Geico days. They were super inconsistent. What made it better for me was I was a counter, so I did count in my head on my own cadence and whatnot. But also in my 450 days, we got this light, like the RPM light.
Yeah.
And setting that, finding that, and just like a perfect process to what my start looked like, that's where I found, my whole shots and my good starts. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that you're either a good starter or a bad starter, but you got to find that process. You got to whittle it down to absolutely pencil sharp and, be ready to rip.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. By the way, Zach Osborne, brought to you by the folks at Fly Racing and PulpMX code to save. We got a pair of 100% goggles to give away too. Pulp 30, the code to save with those guys. David's on too. What's up, David?
Hey, thanks for taking my call today.
Yeah.
Hey, so obviously we all know Aaron Plessinger is really struggling this year. I got two questions. Zach, I know you rode the Husky basic platform for several years. First off, how do you get so far off on the same basic platform? Because he looks very uncomfortable. And second off, does losing Jay Dungy, does that have anything to do with his motivation or I'm sure he has a great mechanic now, but is there anything to that?
I don't know. Who is his mechanic, Steve?
Who?
AP.
Oh, it's Jay Burgess.
Jay Burgess. Oh, Jay Burgess is one of the best to ever do it, in my opinion. Great dude, great attitude. I'm sure that there's nothing much lost there. Jay's great as well, but if it was a younger kid and there was some confidence or something like that would be one thing. But Jay Burgess is awesome. As far as the base goes, I mean, there's so many changes per year that happen or that are available to you. If you're not, I was not a setup guy. I've said that many times. Like, I was to get it to 90% and let me ride long enough to know every single inkling of it, everything it's going to do every time it hits a bump, and go from there. Whereas some of these guys, they get going down streets and they just keep going and going and going, and then you're 4 weeks into something that you don't like before you know it, and it's kind of too late to turn back, or it's hard to get back to where you were, or you don't find the same feeling when you go back there because now you've experienced other stuff. Like, I don't think that, and I don't know your history, I don't know you, but like most people that ride, even at like an A rider level, don't understand the intricacies of how technical the bike is and how much feeling that the rider has for every single thing. I got called insane a couple of years ago for a podcast I did where I said that we had like a torque spec sheet and like with the new frame, that was 3 Newton meters lighter on the big stuff like shock bolt linkage, fork pinch bolts, motor mounts, that kind of stuff. So I mean, I think that people underestimate what these guys are feeling, how much they're feeling, how much feedback they have to their hands, and just the level that it takes to be comfortable on a supercross track.
Yeah. Well, I was just you're right. I'm not a pro level rider, obviously, and so I can't understand how 2% off can, the difference between first and 15th is, if you look at a stopwatch, it's not that big a difference. So little things can make a difference.
I know I think Wygant told me this, or somebody said they asked Aaron about him struggling and said, "Hey man, like, you got the same bike and you were really good last year," and he was like, "Yeah, I don't know." He just said, and Aaron's in a typical Aaron, right? He said, "Yeah,
I don't know, man."
Yeah. He said, "I don't know, man." So, he's being honest that way, and he doesn't know why. It's not a bike thing, right?
And I think AP's a great rider, but I think the last year was kind of skewed. Obviously, he got the win, that was huge. But with so many mud races right off the bat, like, he's an incredible mud rider. So maybe it kind of put a little bit more pressure on him than. Or emphasis or hype than what he needed, but it's just that easy to get away from it. And we did it one time at Geico. We had this frame in the off season that was chopped and cut and replaced and all this stuff, and we chased that, let's say, feeling into this hole where we went racing with, and that's that infamous Salt Lake race that I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Like, you feel this one thing and you just keep going until you find it, and then it's just so hard to find your way back from there. It's crazy.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Zach Osborne here. Seat Concepts, by the way. Thanks to the folks at Seat Concepts, saving assets since 2009. Proprietary foams, covers, complete seat bases, complete seats himself, and a lot of teams are using them. The Beta guys, for example, one of them, as well as the Phoenix Honda guys. Seat Concepts. The code is, what is the code? Oh, Pulp25 to save at seatconcepts.com and ride the world with them. So thank you to Seat Concepts, and also thank you to the folks at Decal Works. PulpMX30 is the code to save at decalmx.com. And thank you to those guys that can design anything you want out there. And, we'll let Zach go here. All right, Zacho, give me your winners.
I'm going to go Kenny and Kitchen.
All right, fair enough, yeah. I think Kitchen or Anstey are the heavy favorites to me. I flip a coin to me, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think had the Detroit race ended differently, I would probably pick Max again. But, man, I just feel like that was such a big momentum swing, and Max looked so dejected on the podium, like rightfully so. It was such a horrible thing.
Yep.
But, yeah, I think Levi yesterday was unreal on the track. So I think that was a big shot in the arm for him after a pretty turbulent January and a ninth or whatever he got at the first race. So I think that was pretty big for him. So I think he's going to go good this weekend.
Before we let you go, though, one more question. I've been told by my sources that Joe Dog didn't ride Sandbox this week. He was gone?
No, he was here. He was sick yesterday, which was it rained Monday, Tuesday. He was sick yesterday, so he rode today at Sandbox.
All right, just checking in on that. This sickness is going around. It's nuts, man.
What are you hinting at?
Just something I heard.
No,
but
I don't. Not that I haven't heard. He is not very open with me about that stuff. But no, not that I know of. He definitely rode Sandbox today on his normal bike.
Okay, all right, good to know. And question also too before I let you go from Austin again. How's the lighting at Daytona? It looks scary on TV.
It's mid. It's not.
Mid.
It's not ideal. I mean, ideally, as deep as those ruts are, and like as techy as it is, you would want like the sun on top of it, right? Or like at least very directional lights aimed at the faces. But with the dirt being so dark already, like that black sand stuff that they put down, it's not ideal lighting wise.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Zach.
But it's also hard to light artificially and not get it like right in your face or shadows from a different area. It's tough.
For sure. Thanks, Zacho. Appreciate it. We'll see you this weekend, right? You'll be there, right?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay. All right, buddy. I'll see you there.
Are you going to Daytona?
I am. Yeah.
I thought you hated Daytona.
I love Daytona now. My friend Frank has turned things around for me.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. All right, Zach, I'll see you, man.
Later.
See ya. We did have a question on YouTube about how the riders will the riders storm the track at the end. He means the spectators. How are they going to prevent this? And I don't know how they're going to end up doing that. We saw that last year. Anderson and AP almost running spectators down. Fans jumped over as soon as the checkered flag waved, and there was some real concern for the safety of riders and people and all of that. And we talked about it a lot last year. And I know from talking to people, they were not happy at the Speedway. They were talking about how to fix that. I don't know how you do that outside of putting really tall fences there, because security guards aren't going to hold all those people back. So it'll be interesting to see what they proceed with this year, because I got to think it's going to be something different. I don't think we can have what we had last year, and I don't think the people will just wait until all the riders clear the track, right? So Fly Racing Moto 60 show welcomes from Renthal, Paul Perebijnos. Hey, Paul, how are you?
Hey, Steve. How's it going?
I'm good, man. Thanks for the time today. Appreciate it. Daytona week. How'd you do at Daytona as a mechanic? How'd you do?
I think Dino got his first podium ever at Daytona. I got my first podium ever at Daytona as a mechanic. It was in that infamous mud race that Chad DNF'd. I think
Cunningham?
Yeah, I think Matt Bonney on a 250F.
Bonney, okay.
Yeah, that's what I do, Steve. Take these unknown riders to their first podium.
What, dude, were you just was your bike just a disaster? Were you just praying it was going to hold on?
Yeah, I went way overboard on water protection stuff, and I remember the water being so bad. I was we were washing the bikes on the apron of the Speedway, and you were in a foot of water, the water had flooded the apron, right? So yeah, I don't know. I just remember taping off the airbox a whole ton and doing everything I could just to keep water out of it. And somehow she finished, and he got third. It was cool.
Yeah, nice. Bonnie was a good, underrated rider. He's a pretty good rider.
Yeah.
Red Dog was complaining to me at some mutter, I think 99 Budds Creek. He was complaining to me that the bike didn't have the horsepower and it sounded weird, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm trying to make this thing last. Just deal with it. Sorry it doesn't feel as peppy as usual because you have tape everywhere and foam everywhere. So
yeah,
calm down.
Yeah.
I made the podium there with Red Dog in 03. That's the cool part. The bad part, he was 2 turns away from being lapped by Ricky. So I was like, yeah, third. Oh, he almost got lapped.
Yeah, that's tough. Ricky was pretty good.
He was pretty good there. I'm excited for Daytona this weekend for sure. I just don't these guys.
Crazy to me you're excited.
I am, because that Roxon, Sexton, and Webb want to win this thing so badly. And you can make a case for each one of them winning. And I just think it is going to be a battle royale. And I picked Chase, but whatever. If you told me one of the other 2 guys won, I'd understand that. How do you see it shaping up with 450 class?
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat with you in that I'm excited to see a new winner, right? And I think that's a very desirable trophy to have in your trophy case, right? The Daytona is an iconic one, and we don't have the Daytona monster on the gate this year, so. It'll be very interesting to watch. I'm with you a little bit though. I think it could be a number of guys, which coming from those 3, it'll be one of those 3.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, I said this on the Fantasy Pod, and for some reason, I'm on Team Kenny for some reason this weekend. I don't know if it's a feeling or I guess I say that with the caveat of if he can execute what he's great at and his game plan in the beginning of the race, I think he has a really good chance to win it. And that's if he gets a whole shot and gets clear track and gets away, I think he can win it. But we'll see if that happens.
So my thinking on that is, and I said this earlier in the year, that Kenny looks as strong as ever. He didn't have any late race fades. He looks great. And then promptly in Detroit and in the third main this weekend in this past weekend in Dallas, he got caught from behind, Yeah. And I'm like, wait, is that the old Kenny? We're late in the race. He's got issues, So, and Daytona's rough and it's tough and all of that. So I don't know. If you told me that.
Yeah, and I don't know either. I can absolutely be wrong, but I just think if that can happen, he's the type of guy that can find lines and hop around
mm-hmm.
and can generate speed that people won't catch him, I think. But yeah, what you said could happen for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Chase can go out and dominate too. I don't think Chase is going to be affected at all by what happened last week. But at the same time, how do you bet against Cooper too? So I don't know. So I guess I hope we get to see a great race first and foremost, but it'll be cool to see what happens.
I think we will see a great race. I really do. Mark's on 6. Mark, welcome to the show. What's your question for Paul Perebijnos?
Hey, Paul, Steve, it's Mark Rogers. How you guys doing?
What's up, man?
Hey, real fast, I know they're going East Coast this weekend, but I don't feel like I've heard it talked about that much. Last weekend here in Arlington, where I was sitting, I could see straight down the whoops like they were going away from me. And I know they showed it once on TV with Cole Davies going full huckabuck tank swapping one time. He did it about 5 times and still was never scared, kept skimming the whoops the entire time. I mean, obviously 17 and not scared, but that determination plus skill, talent to be able to pull that off, save all of those tank swappers, plus keep doing it was unreal. Did you see it, Steve?
Yeah, I saw Kenny almost die. I saw Cole Davies almost die. I saw a lot of dudes almost die, and I saw Davies. It was incredible. Mark, I just chalked that up to youth. Do you know what I mean? Like just
exactly
a kid who has not not had the big one yet, but it was impressive for sure. Yeah.
And is he the fastest guy in the class raw speed right now?
No, I'd still go Deegs. Paul, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I still think Deeks has speed to burn. Davies has looked incredible.
Yeah.
He's a revelation. I mean, he looked like a video game in Glendale to me. And yeah, when you speak about his whoop prowess, to me, that's one of the most sought after things, I would say, for an amateur turning to a pro or like a fledgling guy, is that I think it's so paramount and critical to somehow gain confidence in the whoop before you have that big one that you just mentioned, Steve, right? Because if you haven't had that big one yet, you haven't been racing Supercross long enough. Everyone's going to have one. But I think Cole developed enough confidence in whoops before he ever had a giant one. And now that's the product of what you see, Mark, is him going through the whoops wide open every time. No matter what's happening, he comes back to this next lap and does it again. So that I think is such a key for kids to try to learn, but it's very, very difficult to do.
Yeah, I think about Malcolm too. I saw Malcolm have almost a big one. So like it was more than just Davies. It was a tough whoop section that definitely got some guys. It seemed like on the left side, if you went on the left is where you got into trouble a little bit. But if you nailed it, you could skim it. You know,
he started on the right and ended up on the left.
Yeah.
I mean, he almost did what Jordan did a couple times, which was scary. But I don't know. I mean, we've all watched a lot of Supercross, and to me, I think he's maybe the most exciting guy that we're watching right now, if anyone's still racing.
Yeah.
That young, that fast, not scared. He's really little too, which who knows how that translates long term, but then with his sombrero hat and his comments about whatever
he seems like a good kid.
He's funny.
I don't know if it's the number, the body type. He just reminds me of Ernie. Probably the number.
Yeah, it's got to be the number.
Yeah.
It's the number. It's the blue fender. It's all those
but
things.
he's precise. He's precise.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like Ernie, he's technical, all of that stuff. And then the number. So, yeah, it reminds me a lot of Ernie because, Paul, you were around. Like, I don't think people, and in a similar vein, no one thought Ernie was going to do what he did. Like, he was a good amateur. He had a good ride. But no one was like, oh, dude, this dude's going to win every one but one, I think, that year. You know?
No, I mean, when he showed up in Supercross, and I mean, I remember seeing Ernie as early as anyone on the planet has, for the most part. I remember when he was a Kodak guy at Mini O's. So I've seen Ernie a long time. And when he showed up that year in Supercross, like YOT, like he, again, precision, I think, is a word that comes to mind. He was perfect, like just like a machine.
Yeah, he really was. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for the
Paul,
call.
All right, cool. Take care,
Thanks.
guys. See you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. We got a lot more callers here. Jeff's on 1. Jeff, what's going on?
So I think I saw on the broadcast last week that 6'9" Benny Bloss was using a starting block.
They do.
What's happening?
A lot of guys use starting blocks. Yeah, height doesn't really matter. They Jasikonis used to use them in GPs. I think Van Horbeek did. But Benny does.
That's stupid if you're that. But that's stupid if you're that tall.
Well, what's the reasoning, Paul? What's the reasoning? We know what starting blocks do for short people, but like
I think it's a guy who's not good at starts searching for things. Is personally what I think it is.
Okay, all right. So not a fan.
No, I mean he's 6'9". Why would he ever have a starting block?
Those
super tall starting blocks that the GP guys were using for a while.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone's ever whole shotted with those either.
Yeah, maybe. All right, man. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate it. Seen that around for sure. Paul, somebody that you were really high on before the season started, and granted, he was sick, and it hasn't gone as well, and there was a little bit of lingering from that, but is Austin Forkner. Triumph.
Yeah.
I get that he's been sick, and I understand it, but man, haven't even seen like a one lap heater from him. And look, it's been only 2 races, so back it down. But do you think the old Forkner comes out or shows up?
Man, I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
I was definitely wrong. We've seen him come back from injury after injury and be the same guy so many years. I assumed it would happen again. But yeah, this was a mega injury. Obviously, you've spoke about it a lot, and he's not on a pro circuit Kawasaki anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want that to sound like it's a knock at the Triumph bike, because obviously we've seen it be competitive more than enough. Like, I think it's a very competitive bike, but it is different. But yeah, maybe the injury is more than the bike in this situation.
Yeah, and like a long time off, and it all age and time off catches up to everybody, and the new bike.
Yeah.
And,
and he's dressing for the crash now too. I don't want to. Obviously, it's a great innovation, but you're still dressing for the crash, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, that's still a little bit of a different mindset.
Really, you think so? Yeah.
I do. Yeah,
okay.
I do.
Yeah. Fly Race and Moto 60 show. We have a Sexton question. Imagine that. Jordan's on 4. What's up, Jordan?
Hey, Steve. Thank you for letting me waste some more time talking about the past and not the future.
No, you're fine. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I just wanted to provide a little bit of a different perspective. I think obviously Sexton's a household name, and he's going to be for many years. And so as a fan, I appreciate that dude wants to win.
Mm-hmm.
And so to kind of counter Zacho's point earlier, I don't think he had to play it any certain way. I think he played it the right way, which is I want to win every single time I'm on the track.
No, I couldn't agree. I couldn't disagree more. I mean, it was the last lap.
I disagree also.
He had the overall. But Jordan, I'm going to give you a pair of goggles for that hot take. I'm going to give you a pair of 100% goggles.
I've actually won a couple of times on your show, Steve, so
okay.
I'd appreciate it if you gave that to somebody that needs
it. All right,
thank you.
We'll pass it on. No, I disagree, man. I know it. I get it. Like Zacho said, it's a dick measuring contest. You want to catch and pass your rival, blah, blah, blah. But as Wygant was in here on Monday night, as Wygant said, even if he caught and passed Coop and then gave him the pistols over the finish, do you think that's going to bug Coop? Hell no.
No, not at all. But
so like,
what I'm saying is that's looking at it in a vacuum, which I know we like to do on this show. But overall, I like that he wants to win. The guys that are like already thinking about the championship, in my mind, this is a job for them. Whereas Sexton, it seems like it's just a race, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to lead every lap and I'm going to win every chance I get. And I appreciate that as a fan of the sport.
Okay, sure. Okay, fair enough. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Yeah, I get it. I don't get it, but I get it. Paul?
Yeah. I mean, I think I kind of he's coming from the perspective of a fan, and he loves that. And yeah, I guess I kind of do too. But I do believe Chase looks at the starting line like everybody has number 0 on their plate. Like he doesn't race hardly anybody any different. But I think at the top level, if you want to win titles, you have to.
Yeah.
And what the story you bring up that we brought up, that's a perfect example. Like, you're not going to gain anything by doing that to Cooper. You already have the trophy and the bonus check. And Chase and his dad are probably one of the people in the pits that I'm closer to than most. And I was fucking mad after that. To be honest with you, I was mad because I'm a big fan of Cooper Webb too. Like, this is just, but like, if I was Chase's dad, I would have been very upset after that. That was unacceptable. You cannot do that.
I'm sure he was, and Chase obviously was upset as well. And so, yeah, and like Zacho said earlier, it's an 8-point swing, man. He was 3 up and he left 5 down. You just can't do that.
Yeah. No, you can't. No.
Hey, what's your take on Pro Circuit this year? Obviously, Kitchen had a crappy opener and then rebounded to win the second one. McAdoo went McAdoo. Hammaker had food poisoning. It seems like these guys just can't sort of figure it out. Drew Adams, collarbone. Marchbank, shoulder. Masterpool, finger.
Yeah, it's frustrating, I guess.
Well,
maybe I get frustrated because I'm passionate about it, and I worked on that team for so many seasons, and every year I was there, we won a championship. And I was speaking with Mitch about this just within a week ago.
Well, I was going to ask you. Yeah, you told me you had a nice conversation with Mitch. So if you can, as much as you want, take us through what his mindset.
I mean, I don't know. I think we disagree on a few things. I mean, I think a couple guys on his team. I think a couple guys on his team he never should have hired, in my opinion. They're going to get hurt on any bike, and they're going to burn gas on any team. And I wouldn't be afraid to race against them on a different team. I think some of the guys, I think there's a ton of potential in Seth Hammaker. I still believe in him. He does need to pull it together. You brought it up about McAdoo. He frustrates me too because he would have been after round one. He was their best shot at a title, and he just, I don't know. You don't have to always leave it wide open when it goes wrong. Like chop the throttle and take your second place or whatever position he was in that race. I think it was fourth actually, and he would have been second in points if he just finishes fourth. So, I don't know. I think the theme of it is frustration. I don't believe in any kind of pro circuit curse. I don't want to hear it when people tell me that. But yeah, it's like with all things. If you get the ball rolling, it's easier to keep it rolling, and they cannot get it rolling in the right way right now. I think Levi Kitchen is the bright spot. Obviously, he can pull it together, but I don't know, man. I'm not real surprised about what Masterpool, Marchbanks, and McAdoo have done so far. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think you can be right. I don't think you can be.
I'm just not surprised. Yeah.
One thing about Mitch is he's got your back. You're his guy until you're not. And then his loyalty extends. Obviously, look at the relationship he's got with Weimer and RV and all these guys that used to ride for him and won for him. And, he'll help them to no end even now, and they're long retired. But he's very loyal until he's not, So.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a big reason why he's hired the guys he has is because those guys have shown him so much off the bike, too, not necessarily on the track, like being punctual, eating right, all these other things that the rider absolutely can do. It's within their power to do. You need to do that correctly if you want Mitch to be on your side, and he will reward you for it and give you enough time to figure it out. But yeah, you're right, Steve. At some point, you got to cut bait.
Craig O'Neill has helped you, Paul, out. He's friends with Dean Wilson, United American Mortgage, NMLS number 942. They've been in business for 30 years. Nationwide residential mortgage lender. Reach out to Craig, 619-535-7477. O'Neill, teamhomelending.com for more information. Whether you're considering a refi, consolidating your debts, preparing to purchase a home, O'Neill team are there to guide you through the mortgage process. And again, Paul, it's Craig, somebody that you know, and he's done well, done good work. So. And look, he helped Dean Wilson out. Dean's the cheapest guy ever. So,
Craig is one of the boys, and he's awesome at what he does.
So you're also a Dean Wilson insider. Do you think he gets the Honda thing? I do. Lars isn't really cracking, and he told me he's got some plans, and he told me he's got some ideas. Maybe multiple guys, or maybe just he didn't say that, but in my mind, when I was talking to Lars about it. Seemed like he might have some different ideas on making this fun and making this interesting for fans, but I just think Dean should get it and do it. What do you think?
Yeah, I believe you will see Dean on that bike. I just don't believe it will be as quick as you or anyone else think it will be. I think a giant priority of Team Honda right now is developing their motorcycle. They got a lot of kind of things to go through because they've just been on this tear racing all over the world for however many years now with the Lawrence brothers and Wright. So I think the staff is tired also too. They have a lot of shop work to do and development to do. So I think that is their priority, is getting their motocross bike ready for the Lawrence brothers to return. So that's why I think you won't see a fill-in guy immediately. But yeah, when the fill-in does come, I believe it will come. I believe it will be Dean.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Lars mentioned Birmingham, so we'll see. I
think it'll be later.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. I hope it happens. Dean's an awesome guy, and to go out on a factory Honda would be really, really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So, quick question here. We got some more. We got Dan on 3. Dan, what's up? You want to talk about laps led?
Yeah. Hey, just really quick. This might be another hashtag never change AMA, but do they count laps led in Triple Crowns?
They don't count laps led at all. They don't. There's no stat for laps led.
Oh,
really.
No one does that. Okay.
Well, I mean, there's guys out there that do that, like MX Reference does that for me, and there's guys for Supercross broadcast team that do that. There are people that keep track of it, but official AMA, I don't believe there's keep track of laps.
They don't do that.
No.
Yeah, the Supercross, I think their Facebook page posted in January that Tomac had 993 laps led.
Okay.
Shy of 1,000, and then he went on and led like 14 laps in what was it, Glendale.
Yep.
I don't know. I just thought that's noteworthy. I mean, that's
Sure.
not nothing.
No, it's not. I think Chad Reed. I think I saw some stats for Chad Reed's laps led, and we don't have accurate stuff to go way back in time, but it is cool. It's all interesting. I like the stat. I mean, I pay a guy, MX Reference, to do stuff for me, that kind of stuff, and it's all, I like those stats. I find them interesting. I wish our sport kept better track of that stuff, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess ask him if that's true or not. I'm just going off what Vital tells me.
Yeah,
so,
no, well, that's dangerous. There's Big Lou and ML and those guys. But no, I think it's right, and I like to see that kind of stuff too. Do you want a pair of 100% goggles, Dan?
Heck yeah.
All right, stay on hold.
That'd be
All right,
awesome.
we'll give you the goggles.
Thank you.
All right, Pulp 30 is the code to save. So last question for you, Paul. I think Marks is wrong here. So Marks, you said
I could be. I don't know.
There's 10 races left?
No.
Oh, 10 including
There are 10. The East Riders will race 10 times at 10 events.
Got it. Okay.
5 left.
I said how many are there left?
No, you said how many East rounds
I
are
did
there?
say that. Okay.
And then I said 5 left.
Okay. So, Paul, here's the question. Sorry, Marks.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Thank
Here's the question. There's 8 races left in the year with 3 showdowns, 5 solo races, and 3 showdowns left on the East Coast. My point being, RJ is 23 down. West Coast champion. He's 23 down on Anstey. He's got a jump kitchen. He's got a jump Vial. Hymus, I think he can. Can he do this? Is like if you were his mechanic, are you still all in this thing, or are you like, oh shit?
Oh yeah, no.
What?
With showdowns,
with
I'm
showdowns.
absolutely all still in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So 23 is not.
No,
Yeah.
No, and after 2 rounds, I mean, you can't. I know the first round went awful, but at least he got a podium in the second round. He needs to win ASAP. But those showdowns can make such a difference. If he hole shots and runs away, and his coast gets bad starts, I mean, so much can mix up. So yeah, it's still possible, but man, you better start. He needs to win Daytona, in my opinion, and right this ship and start building some momentum if he wants to talk title.
Yeah, I'm with you. The showdowns, like, I wrote this in my column this week on Racer X. Like, I feel like Deegs, he hasn't been a good starter lately. Starts have been an issue, but I feel like at the next showdown, which is Indy next weekend, Deegs is either going to win, crush everybody, or he's going to struggle.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm worried about the starting thing.
Yeah,
he's on a coast with inexperienced guys. Yeah, there's some good guys over there. Jordan is not inexperienced, obviously, but we've all been talking how the East is so deep. I think at the peak on the East, it's just as good as the peak on the West. He needs to have a good start in the showdown to compete, I think. Granted, he's gone through the pack so many times before, but I'm kind of with you a little bit, Steve. I think his starts could hurt him.
Or he just rips through. He gets top 5 starts and rips through everybody and wins. You know, I don't know.
Yep, that could also happen. Make us look real stupid. Yep.
Either one. All right, last call here on the Fly Racing Moto 60 show is James on 1 about the track. James, what's up, man? What's your question for Perebijnos?
Hey, so my question is, the past few years we've seen, Ricky do the signature design for Daytona, and I know you've mentioned a few times trying to maybe throw it back to having retired riders or ex-riders design things like Travis did in 2009 with St. Louis. Now that Stewart's kind of back in the sport more, back in the broadcast, do you think they ever throw him a bone, let him maybe design Daytona or a different route at some point?
It seems like they really like Ricky. Everyone really likes Ricky. So I don't know about that. I would love to see all the rider designs come back. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
What do you think, Paul?
Oh, I don't know. I did like that year that we did rider design tracks, right? We got the Pastrana track, and that was cool. But it almost seems like Ricky's experience with the designing Daytona makes it just a no-brainer to have him continue to do it. Like, you've obviously done some digging on this, Steve, and it sounds like there's so many things and workarounds to deal with at Daytona to where, you can send a blank sheet of paper to Stu and he'll design something, but they'll probably come back with 10 things saying, oh, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. So
I haven't liked the design for a number of years. Last year was, I think, okay, but Ricky's got to work around the gap for the spectators, sprinkler heads, room for staging. There's so many things that they have to work through. It's really hit Daytona from a hard level as far as an interesting track. So,
I'd have to agree with you. I guess my thought on it is like Stewart made a name for himself in many ways, but one of those was one of the amazing things he could do on a track that maybe it wasn't designed to do.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to give him that blank sheet of paper and see what could be done with it.
Stu and Travis Pastrana were the two most amazing rides I've ever seen at Daytona, in my eyes. Just next level. Pastrana took that place like it was a little playground in 125 days, and would wheel tap and wheelie and place his front end in different spots, and it was incredible to watch Pastrana ride Daytona. Thanks, James. Thanks for the call.
Hey, no problem.
Appreciate it. All right, Paul, before we let you go, you got to give us your winners. Zacho went Kitchen and Kenny for the win, but he was also at Sandbox this week, and I feel like he really was influenced by watching these dudes ride.
Yeah, this is so tough. I mean, I'm sure I'll be wrong. It's going to come from the same kind of 3 or 4 in each class, but I'll go Chase Sexton in the 450 class and RJ Hampshire in the 250 class.
All right, fair enough. Thanks for your time, Paul. Appreciate it, and always good to talk to you. Thanks, renthal.com, for more information to see all the good things that those guys are up to. The Lock-On Grip's been crushing it from what I heard, so check that out. And thanks for your time, Paul. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
All right, see you. That's Paul Perebijnos, Zach Osborne here, Fly Race and Moto 60 Show. Thanks to Get, Maxxis, Decal Works, O'Neill Team Home Lending, 100%, Seat Concepts. Use the codes to save. It's all on pulpamex.com. Marks.
Yes, sir.
Good job.
Thank you.
Tits.
Yeah.
Great work, buddy. Great work, buddy.
That's what I'm talking about.
Way to go, buddy. Woo. All right, that's the Fly Race and Moto 60 Show for another day, and we will see you next Thursday.